All Quiet on the Western Front is the newest Netflix German war film based on the novel, the 1929 novel, of the same name. Now, I know what you're thinking. As soon as you hear the term Netflix film, you automatically go, oh, great. Nope, no thanks. Trust me, guys, I've been there. But this film is different, and let me tell you why. Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic, or I guess in this situation I should say, Guten Tag, wie geht's, Dankeschön for being here today. I want to say thank you so much, I really do appreciate it. I was able to see All Quiet on the Western Front, the 2022 version, not the 1930 version, a little bit early for you guys today, and I'm here to give you my honest, no BS, non-spoiler review and tell you if it's worth the watch. And be sure to stick around to the end so you know my rating, and you know the secret phrase to leave down in the comment section down below. Now, like I say in every single video, this is just my own personal opinion, so if you guys thought the same or differently, let me know your thoughts of All Quiet on the Western Front down below in the comments. Now, let's begin. So, All Quiet on the Western Front 2022 version on Netflix is directed by Edward Berger, and I haven't seen any of his films, I'll be honest guys, but some big standouts are Jack, Deutschland 83, and All My Loving. And it stars Daniel Brühl, most people will know him, Inglourious Bastards, Falcon Winter Soldier. He's been in quite a few Hollywood projects. Sebastian Hülk and Felix Kammerer. I'm trying my German accent. I'm listening to my parents speak right now and I'm trying to use their accent for that. But yes, there's many German actors in this movie. A lot of great ones. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys because that's what I do in these videos. I haven't seen the 1930 original. Now, by me saying that, some cinephiles will go like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Unsubscribe, unlike. The film came out almost 100 years ago. Okay, yeah, it's been on my watch list for a while. I haven't seen it yet, but when I got the screener for this, I said, you know what? I'll watch it. It looks very interesting, and if I like this movie, I'm gonna go back and watch the original. I haven't seen the original yet, but I want to because I did like this movie. And when I first started watching it, I honestly didn't actually know that it was gonna be in German. So when the characters are talking, I'm going, okay, this is where the German people are speaking, fine. There's no subtitles, but okay, I'm sure that the English-speaking people were gonna come in. No, it's all in German, and I thought, you know what? That's actually a pleasant surprise. And then, of course, you see the title in German. I didn't write it down, and I'm like, this is gonna be a movie completely in German. I tried watching a little bit of it in just like the British dub. Don't do that, guys. Honestly, try to watch it with subtitles. I know that a lot of people are like, I don't like to watch movies with subtitles, I don't want to read. Just try it. I really do think that watching it in German with English subtitles, or if you understand German, then just watch it in German, but German with English subtitles I think is the way to go. And I hope this movie does well. I really do believe this, that when Parasite won Best Picture in 2019, right? Or I guess it was in early 2020 when that happened, more mainstream audience are becoming aware of international cinema. Now, I know, cinema has been around for over 100 years and we've seen movies in every single language known to humankind. But I feel like lately, over the last couple years, the mainstream audiences, not just people who go to film festivals and people who really do like international cinema, like the real nitty-gritty cinephiles, they're starting to open up to watching content from other countries. Of course, Squid Game was super popular recently. I hope this movie does well because this movie is, man, it is quite fantastic. And it's nice to see a movie, a war movie, from the opposing side. I've seen so many war movies where the Americans are the protagonists, or the British, and even a few of the Canadians, of course, my home country. But it is nice to see it from the opposing side. Now, we have seen war movies in other countries before, right? Like Soldier of Orange, Downfall, or Das Boot. I know that people say Das Boot, and it's written as Das Boot, but my German parents say Das Boot, so that's what I'm going with. But I believe that seeing it from the other side actually elevates the message of this movie, that war is hell on earth. War has no redeeming qualities on a moral, fundamental human level. And contrary to all those propaganda films and all the posters and all the speeches, war does not breed heroes or honor, and it sucks out the humanity of everyone involved. There's no necessarily good guys and bad guys when it comes to the soldiers on the ground. It's just ordinary people signing up to fight for their governments because other governments just happen to disagree with each other. But your simple soldiers on the ground, they're neither good nor bad, they're just fighting for their country. And I like how seeing a movie from the other side really tackles this message. It's not simply watching, you know, America wins against the Nazis, hoorah! Now, I'll admit, every war movie, almost all of them anyways, have this very same message, that war is hell, there's no humanity, right? 1917, Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, Apocalypse Now, Platoon, right? Go down the list. Full Metal Jacket. They all have this same theme at some level. So why do we keep watching these movies? Why are war movies so popular? Is it just because we like to see people blown up on the battlefield? No, I do think that this message is really, really powerful, and that every single filmmaker, every single film tries to tackle it a different way. All Quiet on the Western Front really does a great job doing so. So how do they do it? Well, right away, we see after a battle in World War I, we see all the German soldiers take all of the dead bodies and take the clothes of the dead bodies, package them up, send them back to headquarters. They all get washed, they all get resewn, and then repackaged for the next recruits. It's a constant cycle. You die in war, well, let's get your clothes to the next person so they can die for their country. And it's on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. And we see our new group of recruits, Paul being our main character, and he even has to lie and get one of his friends to forge his parents' signature just so that he can get drafted into the war. Because all these young men are eager. They're so hungry for that action. They want to feel like they're important, that they're a part of something, and they're just so swept up in the, you need to fight for the fatherland. They want to be part of something greater. And young men in their early 20s, they're finding their purpose in the world. And the war machine knows this, and they play on that want of a purpose, of fitting in finding a tribe. The military and the war machine definitely offers that. And I know that by me saying this, the people who love the military will be disliking this video. I understand that. I've had people in my family in the military, so I feel like I can speak to this, but regardless, it's just the message of the movie that I'm talking about, okay? The war machine caters to a young man's want and desire, his deep desire to be a hero. And then the film shows us that there's no heroes. And once you get to the battlefield, it's hell. War is hell on earth. The conditions that you're stuck in suck ass. There's no other better way to put it. They suck ass. You're constantly under fire from the enemy all the time. You have to be alert at all times. And the war machine is constantly going. A trench caves in, you almost die, they pull you from the wreckage. Hey man, are you okay? Yep, okay, great. Back to work. Collect all the dog tags of all the dead bodies, including your best friends. Let's get going. In war, there is no romance. There's no women anywhere. If you want to meet women in war, of course there are, women in the military nowadays, but that's beside the point. In World War I, there were not many women around. So if you were on the battlefield, or if you were in the thick of it, you might meet a woman in a town or in a village. If that's the case, then jackpot. But this longing for love really does get to a lot of soldiers. You do see one soldier in a French town actually steal a poster of this woman, and he kisses it and it's like, this is my reason to fight, I'll see you soon. Just having this arbitrary or this imaginary girlfriend that he's fighting for, even though he doesn't have anyone at home, but he wants to find somebody, so he's creating this imaginary girlfriend to fight for. Turnip bread all the time. Turnip bread for breakfast, lunch, dinner, really water. You might just be able to get a puddle, right? Especially in war if you're thirsty and you don't have your water bottle or a canister or whatever. You know what? Just drink from the puddle in the ground. That's the best you got. You're constantly seeing just the most horrific sights. Dead bodies everywhere. You're seeing people be shot, blown up, ran over by tanks, stabbed, and sometimes you're the one doing these things to complete strangers. And sometimes you have to look the person in the eye when you kill them. Combat is just the most intense experience that anyone would ever go through, and you even witness soldiers, your own soldiers, committing suicide in the hospital because they're crippled. They can't walk, they can't even move their neck. What's the point? You see them kill themselves as well. Not by the enemy, but from themselves. And all of this is juxtaposed with hard cuts to officials and high-ranking officers in their really rich and bougie train, drinking tea and drinking wine. It's just terrible. The situations that our characters go into in this movie are just terrible. But how they film it and how it's executed is nothing short of miraculous. Really, this is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. And trust me, 1917, which I do think is a better movie, that movie is next level. But trust me, this movie, the cinematography in this movie, every single shot feels like a painting. It's beautiful. The wide shots, the close-ups, the camera movements, it's all just, I'm gonna say perfect. I think the cinematography in this movie is perfect. The sound editing is just spot on. The score is just chilling, and the direction is just so well executed, especially the battles. The battles, you're in there, everything is well shot. It's not like this shaky cam nonsense. Like, you see everything super well staged, and all these scenes have weight to them. That's one word that it's very hard to use with a lot of modern movies nowadays, because a lot of them feel rushed. A lot of them feel like just things are happening, but you don't necessarily feel that importance, that weight, that fear. There are some tanks in this movie. I mean, like, minor spoiler, right? There are some tanks in this movie, and you see about maybe 3, 4, or 5 of them. World War I era tanks. We've seen movies where planets are exploding and spaceships are blowing up. Like, we've seen everything on screen in terms of just like gigantic scope battles, right? And now we just have a couple of World War I tanks. It doesn't feel like a lot, but in this movie, those tanks feel like the most terrifying things that I've ever seen on screen. Just the way that we build them up, the way that our characters are reacting to what's happening on screen. The music, the pacing, all of it is just perfect. It takes me back to like 1993 with the whole Jurassic Park entrance of the T-Rex. You don't just see a T-Rex come on screen. It's built up. You understand the stakes and the weight and the emotion of the scene. I mean, it's not as great as the Jurassic Park moment. I will give it that. I will say that, but it's just great to have a moment like that in a movie in 2022. Scenes with weight. I feel like we don't get those anymore. Or not nearly enough. Top Gun Maverick had quite a few of those. So yes, this movie is just masterfully made. Now I have one problem with the movie, and I have one nitpick. So I guess 2 problems. The nitpick is very, very minuscule. But my main problem with this movie is that our main character, Paul, he's not very interesting. He is a very standard blank slate protagonist. Now, that doesn't really bother me per se, because the character and the point of this movie is to showcase how terrible and how inhumane war is. War is the main character in this movie, and Paul is just the vessel that the audience is latched onto throughout this story. Totally fine. However, there are many moments where Paul is talking with many other characters, and yes, we understand like the brotherhood aspect of war because traumatic experiences bond people together, but I gotta be honest that in those moments the film definitely slowed down and I wasn't as engaged. And there was a couple times around like the 45-minute mark where I'm just like, okay guys, I'm feeling like this movie's getting a little bit slow. But at the end of the day, at the end of this movie, you're not thinking about those scenes. And when you see it as an entire movie or you see it as a whole, those scenes do actually feel necessary. So it doesn't feel like, oh, those scenes, like if you just cut them out, the movie would be great. It's just that they're not as good as just the fantastic scenes in battle, in war, those moments. And I will bring this up too. I had some arguments with people about 1917 and that people hated that movie because they didn't know the characters. I can't necessarily get there. I understand that you don't understand or really know the characters on a deep, personal, emotional level, but the movie's not really about them. The movie is about war, and we need a person to latch onto when we go through this journey, this adventure. Adventure is a weird word to use in this situation. These battles, we need a character to latch onto and for us to go through the story with. Now, my only nitpick of this movie is that there were some squibs, like bloody bursts of flesh and bone, that looked a little cheap, and the flamethrower, sometimes when a character would light on fire, you can definitely tell that it's fake. But that's a very, very, very minor nitpick, because it's like, well, yeah, okay, you understand that the character's on fire. The fire doesn't look real, and you can tell that it's just an after effect. Whatever. Some people, though, will look at that and go like, ugh, this movie doesn't even look real, so unrealistic, unlike unsubscribe. Speaking about liking, though, if you've watched this far, hit that like button so that this video can reach more people. Thank you so much, Dankeschön. But those are my only problems with the movie. So, I was thinking, because there were some moments in this movie where I felt like they kind of dragged and they were a little bit slow, but after the ending of this movie, and this movie really does stick the landing, and it just fits this message so perfectly. And I'm thinking about all the movies that I've seen this year and thinking about how I'm going to describe this movie to you guys and to my friends and family. This movie is amazing. So, I love giving out this rating. I'm giving this movie a 5 out of 5. I love giving out this rating. And I thought about this during the movie too, and I wanted to say it in this video. Watching this movie made me think about how We have 12-year-old kids on Xbox playing video games about these horrific events in human history. And we have 12-year-old kids playing these games online and calling each other the F word, you know, F-A-G-G-O-T, or, you know, the N-word online. It's just kind of sad to think about it. And I understand it. I've played Call of Duty before, but just watching this movie made me reevaluate what I was actually doing when playing Call of Duty. These are horrific events that have happened in human history, and the most traumatic thing that I think anyone could possibly go through is surviving a battle like that, where you are almost killed every second of every single day, and you are forced to kill other human beings over and over and over and over and over again. This movie captures that horror very, very well. So those are my thoughts on All Quiet on the Western Front. What are yours? Leave them down in the comment section down below. And yes, I do plan on watching the 1930 version now. And for the secret phrase, I'm gonna say, the Mariners just beat the Blue Jays. Yes, this is a baseball phrase in a war movie, but hey, I want these phrases to be as random as possible so that people who go down in the comment section before watching the rest of the video are like, what's going on here? They're all confused. And let me know your thoughts of the movie as well. Hit that like button. It helps out the channel more than you guys know. And of course, hit subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this. And if you enjoyed it, let me know. And of course, I'm going to plug my Patreon like always. If you guys want to watch movies with me every single month, these watch along, these movie nights, they're a ton of fun. And I give a movie away to one lucky winner every single time. So if that interests you, link is down in the description. Okay, that's enough of All Quiet on the Western Front. Go watch it. It's amazing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.